Are you curious about some celebrity news?
Or an early access D&D movie review?
Let us tell you.
Welcome to the Nerdnews podcast, starring Tyson Cox and Tyler Waltz.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Nerd News.
We're back.
We're back.
Again.
Shaking the dust and rust off.
Yeah, we have been moving a lot of stuff around. I'm sure if you're watching the video part, you can see that the studio looks a bit different.
Yep, some of it literal.
Yeah, literal. Moving some stuff around, kind of getting a better setup. We're closer together, which is weird.
Closer.
Yeah. Boop. But yeah, no, this is good. We've upgraded some equipment. We're moving into a more production mindset, and we've got a bunch of stuff going on. We've been working on the live shows.
We're trying to make the best show we can for you out there. So thanks for sticking with us. Thanks for listening.
Yeah, and we really appreciate it. We should be back on a weekly schedule.
Yep, and that's our pod for the day. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, thank you. But yeah, so today we're just going to talk about some movie reviews.
Yeah, I got lucky, and my buddy got me early access tickets to watch the D&D movie.
Yeah.
Which I was not going to see if the OGL stuff was still like in play.
Right.
Which we talked about that extensively in some previous episodes if you want to check that out. But essentially, Wizards found out that they can't
do that.
Yeah. Like they're like, what? Consequences? I don't like those.
Not only consequences, but just, we're having consequences for something blatantly bad.
Yeah.
Like
we are acting like an evil villain, and the people who like to play games where they defeat evil villains noticed and did something.
Yeah, it was pretty kooky, but that's been talked to oblivion.
But so they stepped it all the way back, and so I was like, okay, cool, I get to see the movie now. I'm excited.
Yeah,
because the trailers look like it's a fun romp, and I watched it, enjoyed it thoroughly.
Cool,
it was a great movie. You have not seen it. Do you have any questions?
Yeah. So when you say a good D&D movie. What D&D aspects are you looking for?
It felt like a love letter to D&D.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, it felt like, there's the original ones back in the day, then like the 03, something like that, with one of the Wanses. And those were not good movies.
Right.
They
were
objectively bad.
Not good.
The CGI was bad. The writing was weird. Jeremy Irons is great, but wasn't a good movie. And it didn't feel like there was anything really to do with D&D. It was like, hey, we can make a fantasy movie, call it D&D because people play that.
Yeah.
Set. This one was good because it actually used like names of spells and locations, and it's like if you play and are familiar with the lore, you're like, oh, that's cool. That's cool.
Because that's another thing that kind of gets lost in the weeds that I was wondering about is because we are on 5th edition. There's been lots of changes.
Yeah.
What would you? I would say probably 5th edition is the most popular, the one that most people are familiar with at this point.
Yeah, it's the one that came out with like Stranger Things gave it the second resurgence. It's easy enough to pick up. It kind of fixed some of the holdbacks of like the 4th edition. So it's like it really did make it a very user-friendly game.
Yeah, but when you're making a movie and you're basing lore things. It's like, this was picked from 3.5 or this was picked from the original. Or it's kind of one of those weird things where lore is always changing with every edition.
But there's some stuff that fits pretty similar. Like it sticks through all editions, good, evil, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But they did a really good job with, and they used 5th edition, more 5th edition lore, I think.
Cool.
With like Sword Coast, and like named Baldur's Gate, and like they named places and stuff that are like relevant with properties that are out now, or like other games, Baldur's Gate. You're like, oh, that's the game coming out. Nice.
Cool. So it was pretty much, I'm not trying to mitigate what it is, but it's a fantasy movie with glossy paint D&D, right? Just like a filter of D&D.
Yes and no.
It's not like they're stopping a fight to roll a dice and being like, I got a critical.
No. It's not that campy. It feels like if you were sitting down with your buddy and he was telling you about his D&D campaign that he played, but it was actually fun to listen to.
Actually doing a good job.
Yeah. Because it's like here's your character, backstory, quest, adventure, travel, action, stuff. Doom, boom, boom, movie.
Cool.
Instead of it being like cut out to like, oh, we're playing the game, and like everyone would love it. Like, oh, I would love to have seen that as a fun joke. It wouldn't have been a good movie.
Yeah, it would have almost broke your like suspension of disbelief.
Yeah, because then you're like, oh, none of this matters. Someone's fudging the rules. This felt like someone sat down and told you a tale of epic adventure and quests and had, because there's a lot of humor in it, and it didn't feel like how Marvel does humor, where they need like, oh, we got to break the tension. It felt like you're sitting around a table and something happens, and then someone's like, and then this thing, and you're like, nah, okay, all right.
All right. Is there anything that you wish they would have leaned harder into, or that you don't think they quite caught the umph on?
I thought it was weird that the tiefling in the party, white, just with horns put on, like it.
So just a lady.
Yeah, it was just lady. They gave him a tail. I wish the main party had a more of like a creature in the party.
Okay.
It was like the tiefling was we have the human barbarian, the human sorcerer, the human bard,
rogue,
the half elf tiefling,
which is basically a human.
Yeah, well, there's half elf and so it's just
okay. So they could have went harder on like the different species in the.
They do, but not in the main party. That was something that I was actually like, I left the theater going, okay, I liked that, because there's all kinds of creatures running around, and you see them in the background, and there are other characters and people interact with them. But you couldn't put a dwarf, no dwarf, not a single dwarf in the party.
Yeah,
but they're like in the background and side characters and stuff.
Is this leaning? I mean, no spoilers, but do you think this is leaning into more movies?
I think if you're a movie company nowadays, you will make movies that can go into. But yes.
Yeah, I should have phrased that better. Is it going to? Do you think it's going to be more movies with this party, or is the next D&D movie going to be a new hodgepodge of people, but it's in like the universe?
I think it's going to be the same people.
Okay. Cool.
But you like the party and you like the people. It was a bit of like getting the gang together.
Cool.
But in a very good way, not a cheesy like we gotta go, and then it does like the map scroll and you meet at the bar and
gotcha.
Like, I'm a gambling roll, give me gamble. It's not like that. No.
Cool. So I mean, all signs point to a success.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a huge movie. I think they were smart in letting people see it early so that people can give word of mouth.
Yeah,
being
able to see or experience something early is a very good sign. It's mixed reception with video games, because a lot of like beta and stuff like that with video games could just point out the nightmares.
Yeah, but this isn't a work in progress. This was done. You know what I mean? Like
exactly.
Yeah, it's on a plate, and it's like, hey, we got it done early.
Here you go.
We like you.
Yes. Yeah.
Go get something, kid.
Because that means it's done.
Yeah.
They're not scrambling at the wire to get some last minute edits.
And I bet if something was like glaringly like, whoa, they would have been like, well, we're going to pull that out of the, we're going to fix that.
Yeah, because it was only like, what, 2 weeks early? Something like that? 3 weeks?
I think it was 3 weeks, 2 weeks early somewhere. But still enough time to fix something if something needed to get done.
Yeah. So you would recommend seeing it if you're a D&D fan?
I'm going to see it again.
Cool.
To be honest.
Yeah. I don't know if I'll be able to see it opening weekend, but I'm definitely going to go see it.
Yeah.
Especially with the OGL and stuff being back down. Like, I don't like that they tried it in the first place, but I at least feel comfortable seeing it now.
The worst part about the OGL part is that it's a movie brought to you by a production company that is using an IP of Wizards.
Okay.
So they're hardly related to it. I'm sure that they will be profiting from it.
I saw a lot of people making that argument with the Hogwarts Legacy stuff. It's like, it's a studio that is using the IP of Harry Potter.
Yeah.
So like, I get that you don't like the J.K. Rowling. Like, that was a big argument for that.
People are, but also it does suck when
things,
someone is like yelling in the internet still, and you're like, stop it. Whatever. We talked about.
Well, I'm just saying that kind of like
separator
is a lot of art nowadays, because everything is just an IP rip.
Yeah. And we're learning that no one's good. Like on our TikToks, on our shorts, a lot of people are commenting, being like, "I'm not going to see it because the OGL." I'm like, yeah, a lot of people are still mad about it. I think that is going to affect sales.
Oh, for sure.
So they are still dealing with their own consequences, but I think it's separated enough. I think they did fix the thing up top, but we know that they're going to try to find a different way to do it. Bad.
Yeah. I mean, it's all about monetization.
Yeah.
So they're going to figure it out. They're going to figure it out, and it's going to be just enough to where people are like, fine, but
maybe not. Like Wizards has competition now. A lot of people did get driven to other gaming platforms that
Pathfinder.
Pathfinder, yeah. Green Ronin, I think, I did another one. But,
okay.
but essentially, they're like, hey, here's our system, free forever, unfuckwittable.
Nice.
Like, okay, all right.
Anything else for the D&D movie? You think you're good?
I think I'm good. I think it was really good. It had a lot of good references. Nothing felt like too campy or too tongue-in-cheek. Everything felt genuine and it felt nice.
Cool. That's
My only worry is that this does well, then the next one they come out with is just a cash grab and it's bad. And
That's the inevitability of Hollywood, though.
yeah, it feels like if the love will get drained out of it.
Yeah. I also saw a movie.
Yeah, you're telling me.
It wasn't early access or anything special.
Yeah.
But I saw the Adam Driver movie, 65 Million.
Yeah, you did.
I was incredibly excited for this movie.
Yeah, you were.
For those of you that don't know, big dinosaur fan. Big fan of the dinosaurs. Jurassic Park, the whole shebang. I was excited that a non-Jurassic Park dinosaur movie was being created, and it was more of a survival type of movie. Because I think the market for this kind of thing is there, and people can get excited about this stuff if you do it right.
10-year-olds love dinosaurs.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of them out there.
Yeah. And grown-ass 27-year-old men also love dinosaurs.
Yeah.
So I was excited to see this one to see if they could pull it off. Mm-hmm. I think I would rate it on like a scale of like percentage, right? Just a 0 to 100.
Yeah.
I would give it like a 65. Which is
ironic. Yeah.
Did that on purpose? No. So
yeah, that's not a good rating if you liked it.
So here's the thing: I liked it, but it missed the beats I was looking for. Mm-hmm. So I hope this encourages them to make more. I hope it does well, but I hope they learn from their mistakes. Right?
Yeah.
So the keynotes of the movie is very Last of Us style setup and plot.
Okay.
Like, I don't want to get too much into spoilers, but the movie's been out for a little bit at this point.
Sure.
He is essentially a space trucker.
Right? I'm into that.
Cool, right? Like, I like that. The setup, really good. He accepts this job that is a 2-year transportation job to get enough money.
That's right, American truckers. Could be worse.
Yeah. To get enough money to pay for his daughter's treatment for a disease that is, killing her.
I assumed.
All of this happens in the first, 5 minutes. Like, this is a very quick setup, and then we're off to the races.
Yeah. Do they do these stagnant, sitting at the doctor, and he's like, it's going to be a very expensive surgery?
No.
And then they cut to him signing, the quick cut to him.
Yeah. No.
Edgar Wright style.
The setup is him and his wife on the beach. They're talking it over while the daughter is playing. And he's like, I know this is a long job, but we got to get her treatment. Yeah. You find out very quickly that she doesn't make it. She dies on the trip, while he's gone.
Oh, wow.
So he's got a lot of resentment on that. Not good. And then immediately a little comet hits the ship, crash land on the planet. You're off to dinosaur. Quick, just chef's kiss setup. Yeah. Off to the races. Okay. Big fan of that. Yeah. All of the cargo are rich people that are venturing into new solar systems. Cool. So this is uncharted territory.
You're allowed to eat them?
Yeah. So they get scattered amongst the planet. Mm-hmm. And then they all die.
Okay. I was hoping it was going to be like Pikmin, where you run into a few different 3 different rich people. They're I'm resistant to fire.
Yeah. But one pod makes it. Mm-hmm. And that is the little girl that you see in the trailers. Okay. One unnecessary thing that they did is she doesn't speak English. She speaks French. Okay. Which is fine, but it creates a weird, unnecessary barrier that just makes scenes seem too long because they just awkwardly talk longer while they're figuring out gestures and ways to communicate. It comes off as unique at the beginning, but then seems like the scenes just take too long for them communicating.
I see.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't care. It was a unique thing at the beginning, but it made scenes just drag just that little bit where it's if they could just talk, then we just sum this up. Yeah.
I could see how that, and it would be a little weird if they're just on a 3-hour trip or whatever. It's over a week that one of them all of a sudden is parlez-vous français?
Mm-hmm. So obviously that's where the Last of Us setup kind of is. He lost his daughter. He's now trying to save this little girl. It's always a good hook, I think. Yeah. It's a bit cliched if it's done too much, but I'm always interested. Mm-hmm. I love The Last of Us. I thought it was good. My biggest complaint was that there weren't many dinosaurs.
Yeah. So would you think a better title for this movie would have been called The Last of Us-saurus?
Kind of, yeah. So you basically get two different types of raptors.
Yeah.
The T-Rex style of dinosaur, and then a four-legged, like, dog-looking dinosaur.
Were these all real dinosaurs, or they make that last one up?
Yes, they're all real dinosaurs. I can't remember the name of that last one off the top of my head. I feel like such an amateur. But just, your standard, like, velociraptor type. There's an oviraptor. There's the T-Rex.
It's an underraptor.
Yeah, right.
Parappa the raptor.
So they don't do very many panning shots where they could have just shown a bunch of dinosaurs. Like, I don't know if it wasn't in the budget, but you've advertised this as a big dinosaur movie. You should do more like what Jurassic Park does, where they're walking in the background. You see like the Brachiosaurus or an Ankylosaurus.
Yeah.
But it was really tight shots and very few dinosaur action happening. Just few and intense.
Was this a little bit too between like horror and action?
Yes, that's exactly where it fell.
I see, because like we were talking about the tight shots, and those are iconic for horror, because you're not supposed to see what's going on out there.
And there's some excellent scenes. There's an excellent scene where they're taking like refuge in a cave for the night, and you see the T-Rex coming in through the water because it's raining. Excellent horror-esque scenes. They do it so good, but it is stuck in that weird middle part where they didn't really have an identity.
Yeah.
My other complaint is that it very predictably things just turn out okay every time, where it's like the stakes are very low because these three instances there haven't been any big things, like there's no lasting problems.
That is the one hard thing to really set up stakes when you have two characters and you want them both to win. Like it's not like in like The Mummy is classic. A lot of henchmen, a lot of villains, a lot of non-supernatural villains, that you can like, oh, this room's bad because you will be eaten by beetles. Oh yeah, I don't like that. That's the beetle bite room? No.
Yeah, not a big fan. And then I don't know how big of a deal spoilers are for this movie. I guess spoiler warning, because one of my favorite things about the movie is like the pseudo twist at the end. You find out that the 65 million, that's how many years ago it is, he's an alien. Like, this isn't Earth and then they crash land on another planet. The asteroid that's coming to the planet is the asteroid that just killed the dinosaurs. So he is an alien race that is charting unknown territory that's our solar system. But he's just traveling in the time of the dinosaurs.
And he took out the asteroid that...
No, they escaped the planet and they passed the asteroid that destroys the dinosaurs. And I was like...
What is this movie?
Yeah, I loved that part. So, for as much as the stuff that I loved in it, the identity crisis-y kind of feel of it just took away a lot of... I think they should have went way more into the horror or just way more into action dinosaur shooty.
Yeah.
So I would give it like a 65-70%.
I do like the Mel Gibson twist at the end. Yeah. Where it's like you're driving someone's just sitting on the asteroid going, yeah.
So there were things I loved about it, and I want them to do more things like this.
Yeah.
But it was just a weird identity thing that I couldn't quite... Okay. It didn't quite sell me on the whole product.
6.5 out of 10.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So... needs more dinosaurs.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're going to take I think we're going to take a quick break. We're going to be back with some celebrity news. But hey, guys, make sure to check out our Patreon. Give that a peek, and all our social medias. And if you enjoy it, tell a friend.
Welcome back to part 2 of the Nerd News podcast. We're going to be talking about some kind of like a hodgepodge of celebrity news.
Very interesting.
It's all over the place.
Yeah.
Some fun, some definitely real not fun.
Yeah. And one sad.
Yeah, and one sad. So all the range of emotions. I don't know. I'll get angry at some point, I'm sure. That'll cover the full range.
Yep.
Where do you want to start?
I mean, let's just start...
the bad, or the ugly?
Let's start with the ugly.
Okay, let's start with the ugly.
Yeah. Jonathan Majors, because this is a very interesting thing because right now, Jonathan Majors was arrested for...
strangulation.
Assault charge, like a strangulation assault charge on his girlfriend.
Well, the thing is, it's not even clear on his girlfriend, just a lady that he was with. They're very clear that it's not girlfriend, wife, significant other. Okay. It is lady that he was with that day.
Okay. With this person.
Yeah.
And it's very interesting because it came out, was reported, he was arrested, and then immediately everyone just starts dogpiling on him.
Yep.
Like a lot of different sources, and I thought it was very weird reading through it.
Well, because he's the new Marvel.
Yeah, he's
villain,
Kang.
Golden Boy.
Yeah, he's the face of the new
villainy
of the new arc. He's in every But like I was reading a lot of reports and like quotes and tweets, and it was people being like, "Well, now we all know that the thing that everyone knew."
Yeah.
And a lot of like, "Oh, well, I knew a guy. I can't say who it was, but
yeah."
So it's a lot of like really weird dogpiling,
which always happens in these instances.
Yeah.
It's just always a scary thing going into what percentage of it is clout, because there's always that.
Yeah.
And what percentage of it is verifiably true.
Yeah. And then it came out that he was arrested, but the lady is now rescinding a lot of it.
Yeah,
all
so
of it, right? There's a video coming out.
The legal side of things, the last legal report was that he was with her. They know each other. They're friends. They're associates of some kind. She had the markings on her neck before and had a mental health crisis where Jonathan... What's his name? Jonathan
Majors.
I almost said Banks. I think Jonathan Banks is the guy from Breaking Bad, the old guy.
Oh yeah, maybe.
Yeah, regardless, he was helping her, and in her mental health crisis, they had a little kerfuffle.
Yeah.
And this is all the legal team, so obviously they're making it sound as good as possible. And she is retracting her statements. There is video of the vehicle that this happened in, and there is video of him coming in to help with the mental health crisis that she was already having when it went bad.
Okay. All right.
That is what the legal teams have said.
Yeah.
And that all charges that she has filed are in the process of being dropped.
Now
we have no idea whether that's true or not.
Yeah, now here's where my conspiracy brain kicks in. He is the face of a Disney property.
Correct.
There very likely could be a payout,
Yeah.
and it's going to be they're getting their thing taken care of, and then he is doing it. So it's very weird space we exist in right now, which is kind of the reason I wanted to bring this up at all, because it got reported and it blew up immediately, and then 15 different outcomes are of this. You know what I mean? Like,
because we're talking about this like 24 hours after it supposedly happened.
Yeah, and this is coming out in a few days, so I'm sure we'll have more information by then. Yeah.
So in the current, I am almost always of the mind of I don't really like talking or speculating about bad stuff like this.
Yeah.
Until all the information comes out.
Yeah. At least we're being very clear that this is speculation.
Yeah.
And we're more talking about the surrounding events, not the actual event.
Correct. I'm almost always on the side of wait for the information to come out and then communicate and talk about what happened.
Yeah.
Because the more you speculate, you're never going to get it right.
No.
You're never going to bat 100, and then you've taken a side.
Bat 1,000.
Bat whatever. I don't know. Sports.
100th is 1/10 of the time.
That's still pretty good.
Yeah, you're not bad.
Yeah.
300's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
Like a lifetime career 300 hit.
When did you learn about baseball?
When I was a kid.
Okay. And you think that's still prevalent knowledge?
No, I don't think it ever was.
No. So batting 1,000.
Here's the thing. Someone's gonna be like, actually, Tyson, you're wrong. A good career is 450 to 6.
Yeah. So I don't like to speculate because you're never gonna be the winner.
Yeah.
Like that's what current news outlets do is they publish the headline. Like the headline that I read was Jonathan Majors arrested on strangulation, harassment, and assault. The very first paragraph when you click on that article was, but she is rescinding her arguments in the legal.
Yeah.
So it's like, how many people, almost everybody, just reads that headline now.
Yeah.
At some point, there's going to be a retraction, but news companies don't care because they make money on that one.
They don't print the retraction.
Well, they do print the retraction, but they make money off the retraction and then don't have to remove the original one. So, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to fall and play their games.
Yeah, and being arrested is different than being convicted.
Yeah. Yeah, very different.
And also, Disney. I'm still like really hung up on that. But
I am too. I totally get it. Another thing that was brought up in the article is that any altercation in New York where this happened, they have to legally arrest all parties and then drop charges to where it's like the arrest never happened, rather than it's kind of the opposite of innocent until proven guilty.
Yeah.
Because they have to bring everybody in for questioning, which is filed under an arrest. And then after the questioning, if there's no reason to hold, you're released and there's no thing of the arrest or anything.
Yeah.
So it's still innocent until proven guilty, but there's still that brief moment where the news outlets can say arrested.
Yeah, which really gives them what they want.
Exactly.
Yeah. I think I think it's interesting because people were immediately calling for like him to be replaced in the saga, and
which, if this is true,
yeah,
sure, yeah, definitely,
it'd be super easy. Multiverse Kang.
Yep.
bring back. Oh god, how great would it be if they bring in Terrence Howard, the original Rhodey?
Oh, okay. Yeah, that would be pretty great.
Yeah,
because he has a reason to be a villain.
Because math.
Yeah.
You know his whole thing with math?
No.
Terrence Howard? He thinks he invented new math.
Ooh.
He also thinks zero doesn't exist.
Does it? Have you ever seen a zero?
You know what? Yeah, I have a bank account. A lot of negative numbers, too.
So, yeah, we can move on from Jonathan Majors. Do you want to do the fun next?
Yeah, well, I think we should do the fun next.
Ahmed Best.
Ahmed Best, baby.
Best known as the beloved character, Jar Jar
Most
Binks,
loved character
of all time, is back in Star Wars.
Which feels weird.
Right, but the good news, not as Jar Jar.
That is, I think we all celebrate. Soundboard, yay!
Yeah. So that's good. The short version of it is he's in The Mandalorian. They do a cutback to Order 66, which if you're a Star Wars fan, you know what that
spoiler alert, I guess, if you haven't seen it.
If you haven't seen the episode.
Preface.
Yeah. So skip this section if you don't want Mandalorian spoilers. It's like a 2-minute scene, but it's awesome. Essentially, Grogu has a flashback, or Baby Yoda, better formerly known as Baby Yoda, like Prince.
Yeah.
He just became the symbol. So Grogu does a flashback of Order 66, and Ahmed Best's character comes in and is basically the biggest reason that he survives. And they do this really cool 2-minute scene where he's just a badass, killing clones, gets him out of there and saves them.
Yeah.
He has played this character before for a fun spin-off series where he was in charge of training Padawans.
Oh, okay.
So they brought this character back from a spin-off series that wasn't super popular.
Okay.
But according to that, if the lore follows through, all of his students are dead. So that's fun.
Good.
Killed by Anakin.
Yeah.
And, well, it puts a really sad twist on that scene, because that means Grogu is the only student that he was able to save from Order 66.
Yeah.
So if you know that little bit of information, it adds a lot of depth to the scene.
Yeah. Yeah. I also love that how in Star Wars you can have a character who is like, oh, I'm a preschool teacher. And then you're like, all right, well, we need someone to be really cool and badass. You're like, what about the guy? What about that guy? He's got a name already.
I'm glad that they gave this actor a redemption, because Star Wars did him dirty.
They did. Yeah, you're telling me about that again. How he had a meeting with George Lucas.
Yeah, because Episode 1, Phantom Menace.
Yeah.
One might say arguably one of the worst Star Wars movies. I didn't think it was that bad. I would say all of the sequel trilogy is worse than the Phantom Menace.
God, at least the Phantom Menace, like at least that the original 3 had like a through line.
Yes.
Yeah.
But he's Jar Jar Binks. Basically, they came to him and were like, "Man, you're going to be the top of the world. You're going to be You're basically the new Chewbacca, my guy.
You're loved.
You're going to be beloved." And then that first episode came out, and they were like, "Hey, everyone,
we done
sign
goof.
this piece of paper that says you fucking hate Jar Jar Binks." Which I'm sure kids still loved him. You know?
Yeah.
Like, I was a little kid. I liked Jar Jar Binks.
Sure,
I
yeah.
had a little action figure of him.
I had a Pepsi thing you drink out of his head.
Yeah, right. So it definitely went a long way.
Yeah.
But also the most shit on character.
Oh, man.
Without a doubt.
Well, so there's the Darth Jar Jar theory.
Yeah.
Which I love that, because I think he's like, yeah, I was sat down, we talked about some things I can't tell you, but my character is supposed to be very different.
Yeah.
You're like, oh no.
So here's the funny thing that I was thinking about. Jar Jar Binks is the Finn of the original trilogy.
Yes.
Because the first episode,
weird.
He was way more important.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah. They did that to another black guy in the Star Wars movie?
Yeah, but with Jar Jar, you didn't know. One of my favorite pictures from the behind the scenes is of Jar Jar talking to young Anakin in episode 1, but it's not green screened or anything yet. Mm-hmm. So it's him with a Jar Jar Binks hat on and like a Star Trek looking visor thing, just talking to this little kid in a speeder. It was great. But yeah, so he's back. He makes it through the episode.
Good.
So people are excited to see what happens to him.
Yeah.
Because he has not existed in Star Wars canon except for that little spin-off series where the actor was playing this character.
And it was a cartoon, or
no, it was a live action. It was like a live action game show where kids dressed up as Padawans and did like rope swing and like American Ninja Warrior.
What?
Yeah, it was a live action thing. It was pretty neat.
That sounds great.
But yeah, so
encouraging kids to exercise and be geeks.
Yeah, exactly. It was awesome. So he played that little spin-off character as the host of the show, and then they brought that back for this thing. So it was neat. It's really cool.
Yeah, he's playing what was it, Killian Beck?
Yeah.
Which is a cool name.
Which I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce the first name. Kalayan, something like that. But yeah, so really cool. Good for him. I'm glad he's back. I wish him the best.
Yes.
For Ahmed Best.
Yes. You love that joke.
Because he was the worst.
There it is. Yeah, no, it is always good to see someone get like another chance. It is weird. I mean, I guess I get it. Like, it's Star Wars. So
you also don't know your character's reaction until it's too late.
Yeah.
Right? Like the movie's out and you're just in the theaters and you're like, oh, I'm glad it doesn't look like me. They hate that guy. They really hate that guy.
Yeah, thank God I used a wildly different voice.
Well, here's the thing. If he actually played a character, he would have been the Rose Tico of the original, because she went through hell from the fan base.
Yeah.
He's lucky that he was a green screened monster thingy, because that's exactly what would have happened, because Star Wars fans are savages.
Yeah.
The bloodlust in Star Wars fans is crazy to me.
I don't know. How do you enjoy anything that much? Like, I don't think you enjoy it. You just like having a thing to yell about.
I hate Episode 7. Would I ever in a million years go onto the internet and be like, the lady that played Rose Tico
deserves bad things.
Basically the new like Stalin and Hitler combined, but way worse.
Yeah.
No.
And Daisy Ridley is just like, they gave me a script. I made suggestions and they were heavily ignored.
Yeah. I mean, so it's crazy. So I'm very happy for him.
Yeah.
Especially because they purposefully made him a badass for the 3 minutes that they brought him back.
Good.
And he saves a brand new fan favorite character.
Yeah. Which is
awesome.
That's a save the cat moment.
Yeah.
You know, and if you don't know what that is, when you're writing a screenplay, you have your guy you want people to like doing something heroic like saving a cat.
Yep.
Ooh, Gorgu, that'd be a cat, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah. So we're going to end on a little bit of a sad note, but a happy in memoriam to a very incredibly good actor, Lance Reddick.
Yeah.
For those of you that don't know, he did pass away. You've probably seen him in a ton of things.
Or heard him.
Yeah, or heard him. Very prominent voice actor as well. I think what people mostly would recognize him from now is John Wick. He's the hotel.
Yeah, the concierge.
Yeah.
The face, the gentleman that watches the dog, you know.
Yeah. So we were just going to do a brief little recap of a lot of things he's done, talk briefly about our favorite things that he's been in.
Yeah.
And just, check out his stuff.
Yeah, and he's been in everything. And one of the things that I really thought was really endearing is he voices Atalva in Destiny. And the day before he passed, he was playing Destiny.
It was reported that was one of his favorite games, and he regularly played it.
That makes me happy.
Yeah, it's also weird because it's like, I'm going to go accept a mission from me.
Yeah. I wonder what I have to say.
Yeah, right. The Destiny developers have come out and said that the next round of DLC obviously has him in it, and there's still one more round of things that's going to be coming out that he did have voice lines for, but it sounds like they're going to have to do the Nathan Fillion thing where they kind of have to fill in some of it because it wasn't quite done.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes.
that's still cool.
Yeah, it's still very
to get
cool.
to live on like that.
Yeah, excellent. I think the first thing I ever saw him in was Lost.
Oh yeah,
Because in Lost, he was the representative for the airliner who was actually working for the other guy to drive around in the weird in between life and death.
He had
It was so weird.
great range of like could be a creepy villain,
Yeah.
but also could be a very comforting presence.
Yeah, excellent voice.
Oh,
Such
great voice!
an incredible.
He
voice.
voiced so many things. He's in so many shows like Rick and Morty and I like all kinds of things. What I love is that he had he was a really good. He had a good dry comedy sense. Like he was in. I wrote some of them down. He was in the Eric Andre show, Key and Peele, Comedy Bang Bang.
The Eric Andre show was hilarious.
Yeah.
Have you seen that episode?
No, I watched Comedy Bang Bang where he's playing Tron.
Yeah.
And it's
But the Eric, because you're familiar with the Eric Andre show.
Oh, yeah.
They do their kooky stuff, and then he just stands up, punches a hole through the desk, and he goes, "You need a new desk," and then just walks off stage. That's it. It's excellent. It's so funny. I think John Wick is probably the thing that I liked the most because it's such a minor role. Isn't the right way to say it? It's a role that is so important.
He's a supporting role.
Yeah, in the background, like all the time. Like you can tell he's a badass without him doing badass things.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Because you always want to see the potential, but it's kind of like the Darth Vader effect where it's like, it's cool because I don't know a lot about
Yeah, the more you see it, the more you're like, all right.
I'm trying to think. He was, and he got memed pretty hard, but he was Wesker in the Resident Evil series. He was, I watched that whole, I hate watched that entire season of Resident Evil. Yeah. He was the only time I actually enjoyed the show because he played a good Wesker. He really did.
Yeah.
The subtleness behind it, what he was doing, the way that he portrayed, and the sneakiness of it, and excellent. He got memed pretty hard for looking like Blade.
He did.
He did.
Like they costumed him bad.
Yeah, they did. They shouldn't have given him the typical leather Wesker look. They should have changed it some way.
I thought the flat top was weird.
It was. That was not necessary.
Oh, because you used to see him as like an older black guy with a shaved head. You're
They
like,
could have
okay.
kept him with a shaved head.
Yeah.
It would have been perfectly fine. But no, he looked like Blade. A lot of people made jokes about it.
Yeah,
but
like we did.
Yeah. The only even remotely good part about that show.
Yeah.
Everything else was a dumpster fire covered in dog shit. But he did amazing.
Yeah, and I'm sure he has other voice because he did a lot of cartoons and stuff like that. So I'm sure he's got more episodes coming out. And, I think that's just really cool, and it's a shame, but
But a bunch of players just got together and hosted like a vigil for him in Destiny.
which I love it when communities can come together like that.
Excellent. So good. We just wanted to end on that. Rest in peace, Lance Reddick.
Yeah, and let us know what your favorite Lance Reddick moments were.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Anything else before we go?
No, that feels. I'd feel bad to be like, and check out the thing after a nice memoriam. So hey, thank you guys very much,
and we'll catch you next time. Yeah. Thank you for checking out Nerd News, everybody. We don't have advertising, so you are the advertising. If you like it, tell a friend, like, comment, subscribe, even leave a review on Apple. Everything that you do to support us, we truly appreciate it. And we actually just launched our Patreon, so if you'd like to support us even more, you can go check that out. All of our content is free. We have different rewards for different tiers, so check that out. And thanks again. We'll catch you next time.